8:30 a.m.
We are back 36 minutes past the top of the hour. And thank you, Reverend Calhoun, for leaving us with that question about coming together. So something from our listening audience to think about, something to talk about, right? You know, we talk about these issues, but then the question is, why have we not come together? Why hasn't there been unity? You heard that clip from Instagram where the young man on the talk show talked about what the Chinese thought about black people, and the fact that the one thing we can't do is so other cultures actually believe that, right? So where do we begin to show them that they're wrong by looking out for each other? Well, hey, talking about looking out for each other, Mr. Nate Jones, educator, public servant, someone who's involved in the community, former candidate, but always there ready to serve his city, is back with the Good Morning Show. Welcome back, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, sir.
So, for folk who may not have heard your interviews before or know you, who is Nate Jones?
Just a regular old New Orleans cat. Love my gumbo, love my city, love my Saints, and just trying to better our community. You know.
Yeah. Okay. So, what did you think about this presidential debate? First of all, how did you feel about all the hype that led up to it?
Well, both sides, you know, Fox and CNN were giving their 2 cents on it. Now, all race aside and all background aside, from a man's perspective, Joe Biden has shown a little weakness. You know, he's falling down. He's getting old. He's 81.
Okay.
And as a man, like regardless of race, you have to show a position of strength. You can't let anybody sense any fear in you. Because look at Vladimir Putin and President Xi. They're looking at this. And that's my concern. That's my immediate concern, is the whole presentation of how he's presenting himself. And I posted on Facebook, Trump 21, Biden 10, you know, as a football score. So I think Trump got that one. The next debate is September 10th, and we'll see what happens.
So, what were you looking for from the debate? What stood out about the debate to Nate Jones? Other than the fact that you said that Trump won the debate, what were some of those critical issues?
One obvious thing, you know, as an English graduate, you know, we take speech classes and things like that in college. The way you deliver your speech, people look at that. The first 12 minutes, you know, Biden was hanging in there. He was doing good. But I think his age is showing right around the 13-minute mark of the debate with Trump. And even going towards his closing remark, he kind of stumbled over that. And as an English teacher, I would deduct points because of that poor delivery. And of course, they had those little cheap shots, you know, you lie about this, you lied about that, you know, back and forth. But I noticed Trump was a little bit more poised than 4 years ago when they first had a debate. But that was the main thing, you know, Biden, his age showed, basically.
Did you listen to any of the issues? I mean, the fact checkers say that Biden won. When you talk about having command of the issues.
Yeah.
And command of the facts. So doesn't that mean something too? Because I can be eloquent. I can wax eloquently and lie.
Right.
I can open my mouth and orate to a level that consumes you and woos you, and you feel good about everything I say in my delivery. But nothing I say is factual. But then there's someone else who could stumble and
Right.
not be that eloquent.
Right.
and speak with a dialect, you know, and not be able to deliver, but give salient points and facts. And you're saying that in this theater of politics that
Right.
that doesn't matter.
Right. And you picked the right word, theater. Because I'm thinking, is there anybody else besides Joe Biden and President Trump that we have? I mean, people have been thinking about Michelle Obama coming in, and I think she would, to say the least, I think she would smoke everybody in the political arena. But focusing on Trump and Biden did make some good points, although his delivery wasn't always there. And the thing Trump has against him is his January 6th record.
Well, the Supreme Court just granted that the president still have limited immunity. So in the Jack Smith case, when you talk about electioneering and rigging and contesting elections,
Yes.
it seems like he's off the hook now.
And I just saw an article this morning. It says Joe Biden is running against Trump and the Supreme Court because of the ruling that we saw. It's very scary for democracy that we see somebody has either partial immunity or some sort of immunity. They're not specifying, but it was a 6-3 ruling for the Supreme Court. And that kind of scares me. And you hear about Project 2025, which is very scary.
Right.
So I'm concerned.
Well, let's go to the lines right now. Good morning. God bless. Line number 1, Norm. You're wrong with OT and Mr. Nate Jones. Norm.
Hey, you know something? I'm kind of like in disagreement with folks. I think this, if utilized properly, was a great decision. I think that now that they've given Joe these King Joe powers, I would use them immediately and begin. For example, I would order that abortion in this country is now legal everywhere. I would order that reparations, for example, for black folks needs to be implemented immediately. I would move on the fact that expunging the careers, the crimes of black folks who were attacked by the FBI and expose those records that we had that have been hidden for years and those sort of things.
Right.
They could use this. If you want to give me a King Joe powers, I think we can. And I would also put 8 members on the. I think Joe needs to put 8 members on to the Supreme Court immediately. And everywhere you see in this country where you have these blue slips where they block federal judges, the president has the power to appoint his own judges, like in Texas and Louisiana, change up some of these circuits and those sort of things. And I would also put a proposal but the Joe needs to put in a proposal in that we expand this union. The Northern Marianas become a state. Virgin Islands become a state. Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico become states. And so to expand this union and put 2 senators in. And also, I would elect two territories in this area where we have Native American reservations and have them have a senator and a representative exclusively on the
Dr. Norm.
in Congress.
Yeah, Dr.
Come on.
Yeah, no, look, first of all, thank you for calling. But Dr. Norm, when Obama had that authority, when he had the House and the Senate, he tried to be fair. He was criticized for not using it. So what you're saying is that once Democrats or progressive or black folk, once you get that authority, the heck with being fair, use your authority to make sure you get what you want. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You're reading my mind correctly. What Obama suffered from, just like Joe Biden, we're suffering from what I call a classic case of wimp-oma. And this wimp-oma, and we want to be fair. These people aren't being fair when they go to strip our civil rights. But these people aren't being fair when you don't have the right to vote. And when it sends you across the seas to fight in places like Israel and the Middle East, or fighting in the Ukraine, and when you come back, your grandpa ain't got the right to vote. and you don't have the right to vote, and you can't even get student loans, and your health care is being reduced, and your doctors, like me, are being harassed and thrown in the prison for practicing medicine.
Thank you,
And
Dr.
stuff. We got
Norman.
almost 2,000 black doctors in jail today for practicing medicine that they're supposed to be practicing and stuff. So what we need to do is implement, and what he needs to do is today implement these things immediately. Because with Trump, you doggone right, they made all kind of exceptions from him. This guy is not only above the law, he is the law.
Thank you, Dr. Norm. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
Have
sir.
a good one. Dr. Nate Jones, Dr. Norm says, too often when black folk or when Democrats have authority, they concentrate on being fair and not using their authority. I mean, there should always be a sense of fairness, right? And justice, correct? What do you think?
Yeah, from a political standpoint, you got to be fair.
No, really?
But if you do have that privilege and authority, kind of use it to help people that's in need. For the past 100 years, we've been asking for justice and jobs, right?
Right.
As a black community. Why not use your, like the doctor was saying, use it a little bit, don't abuse it.
Right.
Use it a little bit, help the common working man.
Okay.
And better our communities.
So let's get to the line. Back to the line. Line number 2, Miss Alicia. Good morning. God bless you. You're on with Nate Jones.
Good morning, and good morning to you guests. I want to ask, who was that last caller?
That was Dr. Norm.
Dr. Norm?
Yeah, it's calling from out of town.
I agree with him
Yeah.
1,000%. I've been saying this for years on WBOK. All the stuff that he said, expand the statehood. We need to expand the Supreme Court. We need the Democrats are too wimpy. They need to start fighting like the no-good gangster Republicans.
You've been saying
I've
that.
said
Yes, you have.
For this, and I totally disagree with your guest. I respectfully disagree with him when he's talking about the debate. How can you say Trump won a debate and he lied through the whole 90 minutes? That's you can't give him credit for that. And as far as Biden, as a nurse, I knew something was wrong with him medically. His voice was raspy. People forget that he has a genetic stutter. And when people stutter, when they get anxious and stuff, the stuttering escalates.
Well, he had a severe cold. He was battling.
He may have been caught on some of his words, and he was anxious trying to get them out, and he was not able to do it because he was
he was battling a severe cold.
Exactly, and I believe that.
He was coming out of a
and
cold.
Lastly, I want to talk about, people talk about his syphilis. This man has malignant arthritis.
Right.
So people who are out there, even young people who have arthritis, they know what it's like, and they know how painful it is. How dare people always try to keep this man in purgatory because of some of the symptoms that he deserves. Now, a few hours after, he cut up in the Waffle House. The very next day in North Carolina, he cut up. So for you all to try to say that we need to find somebody else.
I agree.
After a 90-minute debate,
I agree.
It's ridiculous.
I agree.
And I don't take it. I don't agree with it, and I don't fall for it. And lastly, Michelle ain't thinking about running for president. So people need to stop it. We got Kamala up there, and I want Biden to win. So in case after he, has some illnesses, Kamala steps up and becomes the president. Because I know people, especially black men, won't vote for Kamala. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Alicia. Well, we got to go to break. When we come back, we'll continue the segment. Nate Jones has a response.
Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Norm. Thank you, Miss Alicia. But that's why you got to love WBOK and Equity Media. And the Good Morning Show, WBOK 1230 AM. Whose station? Naira Sanders will tell you it's your station.
Let Flourishing Credit Counseling and Budgeting help you jumpstart your future. It's never too late to start over. We remove bankruptcy, charge-off, repossession, court liens, judgments, foreclosure, medical bills, student loan, child support, IRS, check system, and any collection items. Our services are guaranteed and we serve nationwide. Call for a free 2-minute consultation today. 504-251-7425. www.flourishingcreditcounseling.com.
At University Medical Center, you'll see the most specialized specialists. When it comes to maintaining your health, it all starts with primary care. The primary care providers at University Medical Center are experts in getting you well and keeping you healthy. From annual checkups to managing conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, and asthma, make this your healthiest year yet. Visit umcno.org/primary care to learn more.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
Good morning, wake up. The Good Morning Show on WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back, man. Nick Jones, man, our callers. We got the best callers here with WBOK Media, and especially on the Good Morning Show. They set it off, but they also add to the conversation. Dr. Noor said a mouthful. Miss Alicia said a double mouthful. And many of them contend with your, how would I say, analysis of the debate. Nick Jones.
Well, and I appreciate Miss Alicia's comment. Well, I want the listeners to understand that I'm not giving credit to Trump because I know what kind of man he is, especially he used the term black jobs. I didn't like that term. And especially when Trump was trying to, a few months ago, sell sneakers to get money for his political expenses. That was kind of racist. So I want our listeners to, appreciate that Nate Jones, he loves his people. Now, on that same point, the reason why I said Trump had the advantage in this first debate is that Van Jones of CNN, the black guy Van Jones, he said that Biden didn't do too well. Well, even the Young Turks and other
Van
Fox
Jones
News.
is one of my least favorites. Man.
Yeah. But I try to get a collective data sample before I draw a conclusion. Because to correct Miss Alicia, President Biden also lied in that debate. I'm not getting any credit to Trump or Biden,
but it wasn't even close when you talk about the amount of fact checkers, right?
And then Joe Biden said that he didn't lose any lives, in his administration for war or whatever. We lost 16 soldiers in the Afghanistan debacle. So that was false.
But let's get to the meat of her contention, right? And you said it when I mentioned it. You talked about the value of the theater of the debate, not the substance of the debate. So explain that.
The substance, or
you talked about its theater.
Theater.
Remember
correct.
when I said the theater, and you said
yeah.
So the showmanship,
yes, versus
the facts versus the substance.
Yeah. Well, from the upper realm, God is in control. Amen. God is always in control, but in our realm, we see a theater between Democrats and Republicans, and then you have R.F. Kennedy as an independent. You have a 2-horse race between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, and it's the theater with, if I may say, 2 old white men. Can you find anybody else to join this theater?
So let's walk down that road that Dr. Norman, Mr. Alicia said, especially Mr. Alicia, when you talk about the debate, right? Mm-hmm. You know, one thing I am is I'm a bit of a historian, right? I kind of know stuff, mm-hmm. all right? I forgot the name of one of the leading presidential historians, professor at American University. He talked about the facts of debates and how they weigh, right? Mm-hmm. And he also talked about the talking heads and the pundits who are so wrong when you talk about historical facts. Mm-hmm. Right? And I think he went on to, when you study it, that there were probably 14 presidents who lost debates, or didn't do well in debates, but wound up being president.
Yeah, including Obama.
But many, right? And he talked about how little the political pundits and talking heads know mm-hmm. today versus the facts of history and what everyday people pay attention to. And this is what I contend. This is why I think so many political prognosticators and consultants and others are so far off. Mm-hmm. They have no understanding of politics because they don't have any relationship with the people. So they'll advise political candidates while everyday people think something different. Right. So talk about that. So folk are calling Van Jones and others and talking heads that he should step down. Well, if you looked at history, mm-hmm. that debate has nothing to do ultimately at the end of the day,
right,
whether he's going to be president or not. Nate Jones.
And I agree with that because it's an early debate, and like I mentioned, September 10th is the next debate. Biden made some great points. Trump made some good points. But the next debate is going to be September the 10th, and I think, and looking at hindsight, I think Joe Biden might be the better president on January 20th next year, because, like I was mentioning before, there's an era of fascism in the country. So that debate was, just a little
fascism,
snippet.
But people not worrying about factism.
Uh-huh.
That's a little play on words.
Right.
That's fact. Facts don't matter.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but facts do matter. And like the people were saying, Trump also made some false statements as well. But I was kind of looking at this from a collective data standpoint. Mm-hmm. But my feeling is, you got Kamala, supporting Biden, and Jill Biden is trying to do what she can to keep Biden, in the mix. He is old, but it was only one debate.
So let me ask you this question. The Dalai Lama, 90 years old, would you accept his leadership and wise counsel?
I guess it would depend on the subject.
Would you accept it?
For the most part, yes, counsel? Because they're wise and they've seen a lot and they've been through a lot.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So. Yeah. Wise and leadership ability. Can Trump age?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, and then I also like the fact that Joe Biden says, we got to push back.
Let's go to break. You can come. Yeah. Can you stay with us a little longer
sure.
at the top of the hour?
Absolutely.
OT and Nate Jones, man, our guest. Table's been set. What effect did the debate have on you? History says something different from what the talking heads are saying. WBOK 1230 AM. Whose station? Your station.
WBOK 1230 AM New Orleans. Home of the Good Morning Show, 7 to 9 a.m. weekdays.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools, New Orleans.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Boeing is acquiring Spirit Aerosystems for $4.7 billion. The plane manufacturer has long outsourced some of its production to Spirit, but as it looks to improve its safety record, the move could give it more control of the process. It comes as Boeing faces scrutiny from federal regulators and the Department of Justice after incidents, including a door plug blowing off during an Alaska Airlines flight in January. We're learning there are federal moves in the works to encourage and improve racial diversity within drug clinical trials in the U.S. The FDA is now recommending steps to expand drug and medical device trials. Reuters reporting one objective is to increase participation by some groups, including Black Americans. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
This news report is brought to you by New Schools, New Orleans.
This hour of the Good Morning Show is brought to you by the University Medical Center.
Good morning, Wake Up. The Good Morning Show. Good morning. On WBOK 1230 AM.
We are back. The Good Morning Show, WBOK, man. Shout out to all of our listening audience and all of the sponsors and businesses, man, that advertise here on this little black radio station, right? One of the only African-American owned media outlets in the South. And not very many exist in this country anymore, where we can get unfiltered, objective views of all of the news that takes into consideration all people, and especially its impact on our citizenry. Also, shout out to the Tribune, Louisiana Weekly, Data News, and everyone out there, man, trying to make sure that there's fairness in the media. Back to Mr. Jones. You were responding in terms of the facts versus a theater of conversations and delivery.
Yes.
And its impact. Nick Jones.
Yeah, there was both theater and facts. Going forward, I think Joe Biden would be the better pick between the two, even though it was one debate. And like I was saying, I was looking from a data sample kind of deal, looking at this news station, listening to the Wall Street Journal. Even the Wall Street Journal is.
But you said that also there was some things about Trump that you liked too. And what are those things?
I didn't like what he said, but I noticed he had a little bit more poise than the first one. The first debate they had in 2020.
You didn't like what he said, but he said it like he knew what he was talking about.
Right.
His lies was better than Joe's facts.
Because he wasn't the normal bulldog that he is. He was a little bit more constrained.
Okay.
Even though he said some unfactual things.
Right.
But moving forward, Joe Biden will be the better pick for black people.
Let's go to the lines. Line number 2. Miss Armtrese, you're on with Nate Jones. Good morning. God bless you.
Good morning. Listen, I want to come in as somebody that I won't say like I was an undecided voter because I never was going to ever vote for Trump.
Right.
But I came in as a weak supporter of Biden.
Right.
At the top of, just going into the debate. And I left out of the debate a more stronger support for him, honestly, because, he was low and he was weak, but if you listen to what he was saying, he really was rattling off all the things that needs to be done and he has done, which I think the Democrats just don't do a very good job of. I feel like they're always on defense instead of, offense.
Right.
One thing about him.
Yeah, Ms. Armtrese, I want to give you some credit there because when you sit down and think about it, right, I think they underestimate a lot of people like yourselves who actually gave him credit for not feeling well, not being at his best, but showing up anyway. And I don't think they understand folk who are saying it was obvious that the man, he reports he had a severe cold, wasn't feeling well. He had difficulty in delivering stuff, even when, especially with his stuttering, but he still showed up. I don't think they think about people like you and others who say, you know what, man, I get a man credit for showing up. He could have canceled.
I mean, he could have canceled, and honestly, it wasn't a debate. You had one man up there just straight line, and the other one, talking.
Right.
Which because there was no, back and forth fact checking type of situation. So, I mean, that's the thing that the moderators to do better. Like they can't continue to just let somebody sit up there and just blatantly lie. Don't at least have a fact checker at the bottom.
Yeah.
or, reiterate like that isn't true. They know that isn't true.
That was a real interesting point that some of us caught in the fact that you thought CNN would have a more liberal or democratic bent. But CNN, they actually allowed Trump to get away, and the moderators there, I was very surprised at the positions that they took, that they let him get away with, which shows that most of the mainstream media, they're just into the theater or the ratings. They don't really care about us or the facts. So that was a real good get.
They put Biden in a position to be the fact checker for Trump, and that wasn't fair.
Great point. Thank you, Ms. Humphrey. I told you that's why I love our listening audience, Nate Jones. Let's go to the lesson 9, number 1. Janice, good morning. God bless you. You're on with Nate Jones.
Hi, good morning. I was just calling in because I heard the beginning of the conversation. I think, is that Mr. Jones sitting in the
yes, it is. Nate
room
Jones.
with you? He said something about the internet was saying it was 10 to whatever it was.
The internet was saying and world leaders that Trump won, right.
Okay, but the thing is, the only reason why Trump didn't let his ignorance out is because they turned the mics on. I really just wish people would just open their eyes and stop falling for the okie doke. And as far as people like us, black people, we shouldn't be trying to give Trump not an ounce of credit for the way that he feels about us. I'm going to be short because I'm leaving out, but that's all I just called to say. Black people, we need to stop it. And don't give that man no kind of credit because the man don't like us. Point blank and simple.
Mr.
Have
Nate,
a good day.
Shut it down. Thank you. Nate Jones, let's stay there a minute, right?
Right.
Okay. So Mr. Niece is saying, and man, I love our listening audience, man. Y'all on fire. She's saying she don't care. Donald Trump could have got up there and sounded like Zig Ziglar.
Yeah.
And Martin Luther King. And Joe Biden could have been a zombie in waiting.
Yeah.
She ain't give a damn.
Well, to repeat what I said earlier.
Go ahead, Mr. D.
To repeat what I said earlier, I'm not supporting Trump because I know what kind of man he is.
Okay.
I'm just giving you guys an objective look at what everybody in other countries are saying. Now, going forward, I think Joe Biden is the best pick for black people. But she does make a good point. And, Obama did a lot of good stuff that carried over into Trump.
Right.
Trump had 6.5 unemployment among black people. Joe Biden got it down to 4.6.
Right.
So that's a good trend for black people. What I'm just saying, we have to look at the bigger picture. And I was saying earlier, Trump was trying to appeal to black people by selling those sneakers, and I didn't like that.
Okay, all right.
So I want people to look at the bigger picture. But going forward, we have a great vice president behind Joe Biden.
All right. Y'all got Nate Jones clarifying his position. He's saying, don't get it twisted. He's just talking about the debate, not who he supports. Line number 2, First Lady, Miss Jones. You're on with Nate Jones.
Good morning. I wish I was the first one to Oval Office to knock him if they ever think about putting him in there. Oh, I tell you, Mr. Jones, you're young. You probably don't even know the history of a whole lot of other people. And OT have heard, and others have heard me say this constantly. We better hope and pray that they don't try to steal or use the numbers count to put Trump in there. We would be in a deadly position. That man is connected with Putin. Putin is the leader of Russia. Russia is not the U.S. friend. And the history has been, as I've said, that you destroy within America. We don't have to fire one shot. This man is beside. We already know he's a liar. We don't have to keep saying that. Not really.
Right.
I said to emphasize to people. We already know that he's a number one liar, and the people who are following him, I always say, are worse off than he is. What's wrong with them? But we better hope and pray that in this end, that Trump does not get in that office, because it would be just like Ukraine, bombed up cities, people sick and dying, can't get no medicine, becoming third world, diseases, wars bring on that. And you can see with the smirky look that he has. Yeah, it tells some things, but I think people should emphasize and find this out. Yes, bring to the attention of to people what he's doing.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Thank you, Ms. Jones, as always. Thank you so much, man. I really, we love you. We appreciate you here. I gave little Ollie a hug for you, too.
Thank
you, Ms. Jones. Line number 1, Josh, man. Josh, good morning. God bless you. You're on with
What's up, fellas?
Nate Jones.
Well, I look at a debate like this. First of all, I'm not afraid of Trump being president. Black folks survived George Washington and so on. So we'll be all right.
Go ahead, Josh.
I ain't tripping on that part.
Go ahead, Josh.
But to say that, to me, Trump lost the debate more than me because he just the golden rule. Truth shall set you free. It's almost like it was his time to really shine on Joe, and he still chose to lie and not be truthful, which made, to me, him look even weaker and dumber. It was to me, it was a slam dunk. If he'd have just done it right and been truthful.
Great points.
He's lying.
Yeah. Josh.
By lying, he made himself look even worse now.
Josh, thank you, man. Josh,
so I think he lost it more than he won it.
All right. Well, hey, Josh, appreciate you, man.
All right.
It proves my point, and that how political prognosticators don't really have a feel for people at all. They'll push candidates that can't win. They'll tell candidates stuff that doesn't connect with people. They have no clue. And if you're listening to what many of our callers have said, they had a total different take on the debate than most of the talking heads, the political consultants, and the prognosticators.
Yeah.
Now, I know you were simply talking about the command of the language, the command of the stage, and someone made a point. I think it was Ms. Shanice. We forgot that when they would pan from Trump after a point, he was still running his mouth a lot of times, but you couldn't hear him.
Right. They had to cut it off.
So theater versus substance. We're about to close out this segment, Nate Jones. Bring us home.
Well, like Ms. Jones was saying, Trump is known for lying, and he's told at least 20,000 lies since he's been in the White House.
At least.
At least. So when you consider that, you don't want somebody too much of a hothead in the Oval Office. So basically what I was saying was, look at the whole picture. There's still a second debate coming in September 10th. I was giving my objective perspective. You heard me? So that's basically what my 2 cents are regarding this debate. Okay. There's another debate coming, and I think Joe Biden, like Barack Obama, he'll do much better.
Well, it was interesting to me how, I wish I don't listen to the presidential historian, right, who over at American University, who talked about how people really view these debates and the history of it versus the talking heads. And I tell people all the time, political consultants are so far away from everyday people today that they're doing a disservice to the candidates because they're just trying to make money, position themselves. They have no feel for people, whether it's here locally or around the nation. And the historian actually said the same things that many of our listening audience said, that people actually were able to decipher into the debate a lot deeper than what the talking heads were able to do.
Right. And back to your point on a theater, debates before Trump and Biden, they were had more decorum. But now it's hyped up with the media. They both had strong points, but like I said, September 10th is going to be round 2.
All right, well, let's go back to the lines. Line number 1, Gladys, you're on with Nate Jones.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, no, thank you.
What I want to bring up is Democratic president implement programs to help the low-wage earners, but the Republican senators do not fully fund.
Okay.
And just knowing, yes, the debate made some factors and some people, but I'm looking at the history of Democratic presidents. They implement real good programs to help low wages earners, but the Republican senator doesn't fully fund it.
Great
and in a relationship with Joe Biden in the world power was able to end apartheid in South Africa. but Joe Biden and Israel cannot end apartheid in a Palestinian territory. Thanks for taking my call, sir.
Thank you. Thank you as always, man. Line number 2, Ragas, you're on with Nate Jones.
Hello?
Hey, good
This
morning.
is Larry.
Hey, Larry.
Hey, how you doing, OT?
Larry, I'm fine. Yeah.
I'm speaking to, I think, an English teacher, a professor.
Yes, English.
And, I did go to college, and when I went to college and took a public speaking or any kind of English,
right,
it was always put on how you say it, not what you say. So, substance is what you say, not how you say it.
Thank you.
So, when I was in these classes, OT,
right,
I put a lot of emphasis on, how I say it. Not, I would say all kind of crazy stuff that didn't make sense.
But it sounded good.
Sounded good, but that don't matter. It sounded good.
Right.
Substance doesn't matter.
Great
so
point.
Speaking as a English professor or teacher, I know where you're coming from because that's who you are. You're putting a lot of emphasis on how he said it, not what he said.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for clearing that up.
Thank you, OG. All right.
Thank you, Larry. And I think that's what people got kind of misconstrued with you, right?
Correct.
You weren't talking about, you were talking about the appearance of what people would take from the surface.
Yeah, just the aesthetics.
Not the substance of it.
Because Joe Biden has a lot of substance in his 4 years.
Right.
He went to the podium and said, we got to end white supremacy.
Okay.
And that's what I like about Joe Biden. So going forward, if I had to pick between Biden and Trump, if I want this country to survive for black people,
well,
let's see what Biden does.
We got one more caller. John, good morning. God bless you, good brother. You're on with Nate Jones.
Hey, good morning. How you doing this
We're
morning?
doing good, John.
Well, it's obvious also, not only that the president is not where he should be, Trump was also on medication too because he was too poised.
Okay.
So they hit him with a needle before he went in there. Believe that. But,
That's right.
some Adderall or whatever, man. What the lady said before, I think was Miss Jones.
Yes,
she's correct, but it's not going to happen like she thinks it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening now. If you look at a lot of these men that are coming through the border now, a lot of them are coming with no women, no children. They're between 18 and 26 years of age, 27 years of age. That is prime fighting age.
Yep.
Okay? And like you said, you have to destroy this nation from within. Well, they're getting these people here in place. You got 18 to probably 20 or 30, about 20 or 25 million people here, another 5 million that they hadn't even accounted for.
That's right.
When those people need health care, they need housing, they need jobs, they need food, that's going to go on the present system.
Correct.
At some point, that's going to collapse that system.
Yeah.
That's going to you're going to show up at the hospital and we can't schedule that surgery till 2026. I might be dead by then. Well, we have, and it's the Cloward Fox Piven strategy. It's to put enough pressure on the system to collapse it. Then you can come forth with this new system of guaranteed income, which is going to be a form of slavery. Because the subject that we talk about on this radio station, if they don't like it when money and everything is electronic, they cut your funds off.
Great point.
Because AI is getting rid of all the jobs, man. In about another 8 or 9 years, people have got these BAs, MAs, they're not going to need you anymore. AI going to take care of all that.
That's right.
That's why I tell some of the young men I engage, yes, get your degrees and what have you, but I also encourage them to learn hard skills. Because AI hadn't figured out yet how to replace a plumber, electrician, a carpenter, frame a house, and do certain things. And for our sisters want men with status, this, that, and the other, and education. I said, tell you what, young sister, in about 9 years, the plumbers, the men that work with their hands, that's going to be the new high-value brothers. Them other brothers with the MAs and BAs, they're going to be out of work.
That's a great point. We see it happening right now where skilled labor, skilled labor is passing up.
Let me say this. Claude Fox Piven, brother. Claude Scott Piven. Look it up.
And we'll talk later, because this evening I think I'm a little opened up, Big John. Talk to you later, man.
All right.
Thank you. Well, Nate Jones, man, thank you so much for this time. You surely stirred up
My pleasure.
a conversation.
Well, we got to stir up our people because our future is bright.
That's what I'm talking about. Stirring up the
is
conversation is one thing. Stirring up your people is another. Well, guess what, guys? We're going to keep stirring it up. Because what have we talked about here on WBOK for the last decade? We've talked about the racial wealth gap. What is OT talked about with mental health and the Alice report, right, about the state of our economy? The Congressional Black Caucus report on wealth and declining wealth in the African-American community. Well, we're going to be joined by Lamar Gardette of the Data Center and Tyrone Walker of the Urban League, the Racial Wealth Gap. WBOK 1230 AM. Whose station, Nate Jones?
Your station.
New Schools for New Orleans wants to send a huge shout out to our teachers, school leaders, and students in NOLA Public Schools. We see you, we hear you, and we applaud your efforts. Be sure to tune in every Monday at 12:30 p.m. on 12:30 a.m. for Talk That NOLA Education.
The Essence Festival of Culture presented by Coca-Cola celebrates its 30th year in New Orleans, July 4th through the 7th. Performances from the King of R&B, Usher, plus Janet Jackson, Frankie Beverly featuring Maze, Charlie Wilson, and more. Essence is where we affirm, uplift, and revel in our Black excellence. Make sure to visit EssenceFestival.com to get your tickets. Thanks to our presenting sponsor, Coca-Cola, also Target, AT&T, L'Oreal, and McDonald's.